Hi, I'm Marty Nimko. This is The Art of Teaching. Think about the courses you've taken. How much do you remember? On Saturday Night Live, Father Guido Sarducci, a character, an Italian guy, says, "I'm going to make a degree a cheap. You only pay for what you remember." So, whether you're teaching a college course or merely giving a short talk at your workplace's brown bag lunch, to get your audience to remember, to incorporate, even be transformed by your teaching, consider these linchpins of transformational teaching. Beware the tyranny of content. In the name of rigor, many instructors pack a course or class with too much content. I want to cover all the relevant material, they think. That increases the chances that students remember little, and if in higher education they don't read the required readings, they may use Cliff Notes or cheat. And the nuggets that you care most that your students remember are buried among a mountain of nice-to-knows. Instead, start planning your course or your class, whatever, by thinking hard about what is truly important for your students, not just to remember, but to incorporate into their fabric. Hint, that would exclude most content that they could easily look up, for example, with a Google search. Most often, you're going to want your students to come away with a small number of key facts they should know in their head, and usually more important, some concepts that will enrich themselves in their professional and or personal life. For example, if you're teaching about the genetics of cognition, rather than a fat textbook, you might assign only a few current seminal articles and in class deeply analyze them, identify generalizable principles, including critical thinking concepts, and propose wise future directions for research and practice. Resist being the sage on the stage. It's fun to lecture. You get to share your pearls. You grow from sharing your wisdom. And you're sure to cover lots of content. That's the tyranny of content. Too much, too bad. But if you care about your students incorporating key concepts into their lives, your classes might consider of what I call micro-lectures, 1 to 3 minutes long, followed by an activity that engages the students as much as possible. It can be as simple as asking even any questions, or a specific question to probe their understanding of the content, or a question that probes them to ponder the implications. But key to maximizing interactivity is to not immediately call on someone. Ask your question and then wait 5 or 10 seconds, which enables all students to have the time to think about it, maybe even in fear they'll be called on. That engages everyone. Then call on somebody who has their hand raised. Exception to that, when you're asking a question about the homework they were assigned, for example, a reading, call on students whether or not they raise their hand. That will motivate them to do their homework, especially if you've told them that class participation will count toward their course grade. Of course, that's not going to apply to the brown bag lunch, but for your teaching in a college or graduate school. Another tool for maximizing interactivity is to, after your micro lecture, ask the students to turn to the person next to them. Give a simple prompt such as, "Okay, paraphrase the essence of that mini lecture." You each do it, maybe trade in the middle, and one of you listens, the other paraphrases. Or, do you agree or disagree with what I said? Discuss amongst yourselves. Or, what are the implications of what I just said? Or, do you want to amplify on what I just said? Or, do you have a question about what I said? Give them just a minute or two. Then ask, did any of you come up with anything you want to ask or tell that the class might benefit from? Be caring, but tinged with just a bit of fear. You show caring by starting on time, staying after class to talk with students, using enthusiasm as you're presenting, and urging them to email you or come to office hours. Key is how you maintain eye contact. Talk to one student at a time, each for just a second or two. Maybe start on the left side of the room, talk to that person right into their eyes for that second or two, and then move to a person immediately to their right. Keep talking to one person at a time until you've reached the far right, then reverse field. Your students will think you're talking personally to them. That shows you care, as well as invokes a bit of fear. Of course, calling on people who haven't raised their hand also invokes a bit of fear. If you're too nice, too many students may view you as a patsy and not do the work. Dare I be guilty of hypocrisy in warning about the tyranny of content? I'm going to stop here And as I often end my talks, I ask you, is there one thing, just one thing, that you want to do differently as a result of this little talk with you? Write it down and or promise yourself you remember it. Or if there's somebody nearby, turn to that person and tell that person the nugget or two that you most want to remember. In any event, that's the World's Shortest Course in the Art of Teaching. As usual, I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. And certainly would welcome you taking a look at any of my 34 books. Perhaps the most relevant to this is Thought Experiments or How to Do Life or, I don't know. Anyway, all 34 are on Amazon. Just go there, search on my name, Marty Nemko, Nemko, and you'll find more than you can stomach. Notice, by the way, there, I hesitated because I couldn't think of which book is relevant. Instead of getting uptight, I kind of laughed at myself. That's going to make it easier for you to enjoy the class, students to enjoy you. And anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching. I'm Marty Nemko.